Casey Harris, and today I wanted to show you guys the first of a series of lessons that I'm doing on beginner acoustic guitar. Today we're just going to cover the fundamentals of the guitar, the different sections of the guitar, the parts of the guitar, what the guitar is built up of, how we interact with our notes in music, and just give you a foundation to work from. So if you've never picked up guitar before, this is going to be the video for you. And then as we progress, we'll be showing you some more techniques and some more theory that you can utilize to keep learning about the guitar. So first of all, I want to talk about just the different sections of the guitar, okay? There's different terminology for all the different parts of the guitar. This is the body of the guitar, this is the neck of the guitar, and this is what's called the headstock. The body of the guitar has got this section down here, which is called the bridge, which is where the strings actually go into the body. It's where the strings connect with the body of the guitar. Up here, we've got what's called the nut, which is where the strings connect to the headstock. These up here are our tuners, which we'll get into a little more in depth in a second. The flat part of the neck of the guitar is what's called the fretboard. The reason it's called the fretboard is because we have on the neck these frets. The frets are the metal lines that we have going across our neck. Again, we'll get more into what these do. On the guitar, we've got 6 strings. Each one of these strings is tuned to a different note, tuned to a different pitch. So when we hit one of our strings, that string is going to vibrate and a sound wave is going to jump off that string so we can hear it. I think a really useful way of thinking about music is imagining that it's something physical in the room with us, right? Now, we can't see sound, but it's here in the room. When I play this note, that string is vibrating, the sound wave's jumping off that string, and it's in the room with me. I just can't see it. Now, a really good way of articulating and showing what I mean by that is this big circle here in the middle of the body. This is what's called the sound hole, okay? Now, the way an acoustic guitar works, when I play that note and that string vibrates and the sound wave jumps off of that string, what's happening is it's going into the body of the guitar through the sound hole, it's bouncing around and it's projecting back out. It's one of the things that gives the guitar its resonance and makes it sound nice and full and loud, right? So if I play, it sounds big. It sounds something more than just some string is getting plucked, right? Because that's how the guitar is resonating. Now, to kind of show you the flip side of that, if I take just, let's say, a piece of paper here, and I put this piece of paper in front of the sound hole, right? We're still going to be able to hear the sound that's coming off the strings, right? You can totally hear that. But when I remove the paper and we have the sound hole open again, you can hear that it's quite a bit louder, right? It's really resonating more because of the way the guitar is designed. All right, so we're coming back to the neck of the guitar here. Each one of these strings, like I said, is tuned to a different note. Now you might be asking, how many different notes do we have in music? In all of the music you've probably ever heard in your life, it's just made up of 12 different notes, 12 different pitches that we use. All music is 2 things. It's pitch and it's rhythm. You're gonna hear me say this a million times if you stick with these lessons. No matter how basic theory is in music that you're trying to conquer, or how complicated that music theory is that you're trying to conquer, you can always break it down to those 2 components, pitch and rhythm. What sound and for how long, okay? On the pitch side, like I said, we're dealing with 12 notes. If you know your first 7 letters of the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you're 90% of the way there, okay? So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now you might be asking, what about the other ones? That's only 7. You said there were 12. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a little bit of how the guitar interacts with those 12 notes. If we imagine a piano is easy to think about in terms of its relationship to those 12 notes? Because a piano is laid out flat. All 12 notes, if you've ever seen a piano before, keep repeating, right? So we have the 12 notes in music, and then they keep repeating over and over and over again, right? It's the same thing, kind of cut and paste across the board. Guitar and other string instruments aren't really like that. So for example, our 6 strings on the guitar are tuned as such. E, that's our lowest string. When I say our lowest string, I mean lowest as in pitch. So that string is actually if I'm looking at the guitar, it's the highest string, right? It's the one closest to me, but we call that our lowest string. That's our low E. Then after that, we have our A string, then D, G, B, and then finally we have our high E string. So that means that these 2 strings, our low E, the one closest to us, and our high E, the one closest to the floor, they are tuned to the same note. This is a low E, and this is a high E. Same note, different octave. We'll get into all this stuff. So if I'm saying words and you don't understand what they mean, don't worry about it. E, A, D, G, B, E. Those are the 6 notes that our 6 strings on the guitar are tuned to. Well, if we only have 6 strings and they're tuned to E, A, D, G, and B, and E, and there's 12 notes in music, how the heck do we play other stuff on the guitar? That's where our frets come in. So I'm going to take this A string. If I put my finger on the first fret of our A string, that changes the note that I get, right? If I put my finger on the second fret of that A string, again, the note changes. Every time that I move up or down a fret, it changes the pitch of that string, okay? So we're gonna go through each one of our 12 notes in music here, okay? We're gonna start with A, again, so we're skipping our low E string, and we're just playing our A string right now. I said earlier, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Those are the 7 notes of our alphabet that we're gonna use in music. But there are a few other notes in there that we're gonna throw in. So after A, if I take my finger and put it on the first fret of the A string, so when I fret the guitar, I want to make sure that I put it right behind the fret. If I put it right on top of the fret, I'm going to get what's called fret buzz. And you're not going to hear the note ring out as well as if you put your finger right behind the fret and push down. Then it sounds nice and open, right? It sounds really good. So after A, our next note is what's called A sharp or B flat, okay? There's 2 names that we can give this note. For now, right now, in later lessons, we'll go more into our flats. For now, we're gonna talk about our sharp notes, okay? So after A, we have A sharp. Then after A sharp, if I move my finger up again, we're on to B. So A sharp, B. After B, we have C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and then back to A, back to where we started. So this is A, this is also A. That's the octave of A. So it's A, but it's higher than this lower A, okay? So if you notice, there were a couple notes when I went up that didn't have a sharp that came after, okay? Those 2 notes were A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. Did you catch them? After B, we go straight to C. There's no B sharp in between here, okay? After E, we went straight from E to F. There's no E sharp here, it's just E to F. So those are the 2 that we need to keep an eye out for. B goes straight from B to C, and E goes straight from E to F. Everything else that we just played has a sharp that follows it. So again, if I play my open A string, I'm gonna ascend up the neck, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F sharp, G, G sharp, back to A, okay? Those are our 12 notes of music. A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F sharp, G, G sharp, back to A. It's kind of crazy to think. All of the music, again, you've probably ever heard in your entire life is just made up of those 12 notes. Now, again, when I take this back to the neck of the guitar here for a second, that was just our A string. All of our other strings are E, A, D, G, B, and E string. They all work the same. They have a starting note. So for example, we're going to go to our low E now. After E in that order of notes, we had F, right? Because no E sharp. It's going to be the same thing. F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, back to E, okay? So if you notice, same order of notes, and also because we have 12 notes on our A string, 12 notes on our E string, when we get to our 12th fret, so most guitars, not all guitars, but most guitars, our 12th fret will have 2 dots on our fretboard that indicate it's the 12th fret, okay? Some guitars, like this Washburn back here, this doesn't have anything on the fret, so you just kind of have to know where you're at. But a lot of guitars, right, we have these dots to kind of give us an idea of where we are in the fretboard. Our 12th fret is usually going to have 2 dots on it. So what that means is, because our 12th fret is 12 half steps away from where we started, whenever we play our 12th fret on any one of our strings, we're going to be playing that same note that the string is tuned to, but up an octave. So what I mean by that is, after our E string and our A string, our next string is our D string. So here, I'm going to play the note D. If I play the 12th fret of my D string, that's also D. It's D up an octave, right? Because what we've done is we've gone up all 12 notes of music. D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, back to D. So that's how our guitar is, that's how the notes on our guitar are laid out. And the rest of all of these lessons are going to be talking about the different ways that we use that, how we actually make music out of those 12 notes. So I hope this first lesson was just a good kind of crash course in the fundamentals of the guitar, how the guitar is set up. Again, parts of the guitar: body, the neck, the headstock. These are the tuners, which in another video I'll show you how we use those to make sure the guitar is in tune. We've got our fretboard, which is the flat part of the neck. These are our frets, the lines that go down our neck or up our neck. One little thing to keep in mind, this is just something that can throw people sometimes with guitar. When you move this way on the guitar, you're moving up the guitar because we're moving up in pitch. So if I start on A and I go up the guitar neck, a lot of times for people, it seems like we're going down because you would think this way goes down. But what's happening is we're ascending the neck because those pitches are getting raised. So as we go up, this is up the neck, this is down the neck. Seems a little counterintuitive, but just a good thing to make note of. We've got our bridge, we've got our nut, we've got our sound hole. Another part of the guitar that we didn't talk about is this thing right here. This is just called the pick guard, okay? The reason for that is a lot of times when you play guitar, you want to play guitar with a pick, and this just keeps the guitar from getting scratched up. So again, as my Washburn over here for reference, if you can see it, it's got some nicks in that guitar because it doesn't have a pick guard on it. So I just wear through that guitar a lot. So that's all that does. Stick around for some other lessons, and we'll be covering everything you possibly want to know about starting off on your guitar. But I hope this is a good first lesson to introduce you to how the heck the guitar works. I'm Casey Harris, and thank you for watching.